Hi, my name's Judy and this is my channel. Welcome. Before we get started on today's subject, I would ask if you could please hit that subscribe button for me and maybe that little notification bell. I really appreciate it. Today's subject is going to be something I've talked about a lot on these videos here and there. And the subject is, we can't know what love is until we know what it's not. And I love that, don't you? But it's so important. I mean, it's really the basis of everything I've talked about so far. You know, if our job as soul, if you can fathom that what I've been saying is maybe correct or makes some sense, if our job as soul is to learn how to, not only how to love, but how to be love, we have to, pardon me, we have to first understand it. And you can't know something if you've never experienced it. So you can't know love until you know what it's not. For instance, as a kind of an example, and I used this example one other time too, but it's a really good one. If you're living in a cave your whole life and you never see the sunlight and you never see the stars and you never see anything outside, you've never smelled fresh air or newly mowed grass, you're just living in a damp cave that's like way down somewhere, you know. If that is the case, and then one day you somehow find the exit to the cave, you know, and you go outside and the sun, it feels so good, and at first your eyes are even like, ow, you know, but then you kind of adjust and you look around and you see grass and you see blue skies and puffy white clouds and you see all the flowers and all the, it's, you know, it's great, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. The fragrance, you know. Who would ever want to go back into that cave and live again? You don't know what the light is if you're always in the dark, right? Do you know how to be a man if you were born a woman? Do you know what it's like to be an orphan in Africa because your mother and father both died of AIDS because they didn't have the money to buy the drugs? That happens every day, by the way. It's terrible. But it's an experience. Would you know what it was like to be a soldier in Germany during the war, during the World War? Do you know what it would be like to live in Siberia where it's cold all the time? Or how about living as a native in South America? Do you know what that's like? Don't. I don't. Although I think I did have a life in Central America once. That's a whole story. I actually remembered quite a bit about that one. But they always end up with me dying. I don't know why. I guess that's something I need to know. Anyway, I digress. So, the whole idea that to understand, not just understand love, but to completely understand what love is. You can't become that thing if there's anything left behind that you don't understand. Because love is complete and absolute understanding, unconditional, no matter what's going on. And honestly, as humans, we have a lot of conditions on our love. We say we don't, but we do. Now, I think with a mother and a child that may not be so, at least hopefully not very often if it ever comes up like that. But we have a lot of conditions on our love. We have rules. God doesn't have rules because He is love. So guess when you think about that, you've got to realize, if that makes sense to you, you absolutely cannot understand love until you're 100% sure what it is not. If that makes sense, if that rings true to you, then you also need to understand that some days are just not good. In every life you've ever lived, in every life you will live, you're going to have bad days. Not just a bad life. Sometimes you'll have a bad life. But you're going to have bad days. And then you're going to have good days. And that balance of good and bad is in everything we do. Everything we say, everything we think, as humans. Now, soul, of course, is lucky enough that it can step back a little, and it doesn't have to experience it the way a human does. But they're in our body for a reason, those souls. So some days will be just glorious, and other days, but all those days, we learn a whole lot from the yucky days. You don't learn much, right, when something's going right. You usually learn it when something's wrong. And so that's why we can kind of be, on our soul level, happy when things go wrong. From Judy's perspective, I don't like it. However, when you really think about life, it's not easy. It's a challenge. You get a stone in your shoe, you have to try to take it out. I have to read that poem to you guys. I have a poem about a stone in a shoe. It's very short, but I love it. But when you realize that everything we do is for such an amazing reason, and that we are all so connected, there's nobody who's gone from this world, from the human body that you might know, nobody like that who's died is really gone. They're not gone. They might be waiting for you. Maybe you guys are going to go on an adventure in another life together somewhere. Isn't that a nice thought? But as a human, when somebody passes away, if we love them, it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. It is. Because we're going to miss them. And we're going to feel sad. And sometimes we get mad. It's kind of selfish, really. But understandable, because we're humans. That's how it is. I can tell you right now, my nephew's very, very sick right now. And I want him to be okay. So we do care. Even when our animals pass away, it's so sad and hard, isn't it? After my dream that I had, I told you about like a zillion videos ago. I don't remember which one it was, but I think it was probably, I don't even want to guess because it's probably wrong. I'll guess wrong. But I had a dream where I saw my dog, who had just recently passed, and he came to me out of mist. And I pet him and I touched him, and I think that was his way of telling me, I'm still here. I can still visit with you, and we'll see each other again. Yes, I do believe dogs have souls, absolutely. Anyway, bottom line, everything bad that happens, everything good that happens, and everything that you don't even care about that happens is happening for a reason, because of some choice we made, or perhaps somebody close to us, some choice they made. And it's a great opportunity to stand back, look at the whole picture, and realize that we gained so much just by walking through the gravel on the ground. So, you don't know what love is till you know what it's not. Isn't it wonderful that we get a chance to find out what it's not? Yes? What do you think about what I've said? I would like to hear your thoughts. would you please put them in the comment section? Oh, and don't forget to hit that like button for me, okay? And I will see you soon. Thanks for listening.